Hailing frequencies open, and welcome to Star Trek Discoverage, the live podcast that boldly goes into excruciating detail about this week's episode of Star Trek Prodigy. I'm your host, Aaron Coker, a.k.a. Caliban, and my doctor has ordered me to drink this coffee. Thanks, Doc. Joining me on the show as usual is my co-host. She's also the co-host of the Generations Geek podcast, a more or less family-friendly celebration of geekdom. It's Ella Pearson. Ella, welcome back to Discoverage.
Thank you.
It's great to have you back here tonight for what is quickly becoming one of my favorite Star Trek series, I think, of the recent crop of shows. Maybe they're cheating by having only half-an-hour episodes, but I feel like they are really on a tear now, and they're not letting up, and it's really great.
Yeah, I was going to say today, this episode has been like my favorite from this show in a long time. Like, it was really, really good.
Yeah, no disagreement there. And I think that we will definitely be talking about that a little later in the show. But first, let's talk a little bit about the news in the world of Star Trek. And there is some interesting news in the world of Star Trek. Let's talk about this story first here. The showrunner of Picard Season 3 has hinted about who might be playing the captain of the USS Titan when we see the Titan in the new series.
It's me.
I didn't know that. Congratulations.
Oh, no.
I don't know why you're keeping this from me, but I'm not offended. That's okay. Showrunner Terry Matalas, of course, was talking about this. He was talking about the fact that in an interview he said that the captain is a major character, the captain of the Titan A, and it's a character that you've not seen before and somebody that you'll be hearing a lot more about in the future. And it's an actor, he says, that he is very, very fond of. Yeah. Now, I think this is my first exposure to Terry Matalas' work, but he worked previously on the show 12 Monkeys, the 12 Monkeys series. And somebody had tweeted to him. I haven't seen it either, but he had tweeted that the character of Deacon on that show, who's played by actor Todd Stashwick, would be a really great choice for this captain, for this character. And Terry Matalas tweeted in response to that, "Now that's a good idea." And then he had side eye emoticon. Mm-hmm. So maybe this guy, big white guy, is going to be the new captain. We don't know. Here's a picture of him for people at home. There's your guy. So anyway, not familiar with this actor, but he looks kind of captain-y. I'll give him that. I wonder if, I don't know anything else about the situation. I know that the Titan A will be their ship or their conveyance at some point in the show. So a lot of questions still to be answered about Picard. What are you looking for in a Picard series? Season 3, that is.
I would I would be fine with them hamming it up. I feel like this is a goodbye to the characters that we know and love from Next Gen. And I'm fine with it. I'm fine with that, I don't need it to be anything. I don't need anything groundbreaking. I don't need anything like huge, massive.
Oh, it's going to be huge and massive. I don't think there's any question.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah.
But I'll be happy with like a sweet, because I was happy with the first season. Like I was like the whole Data plotline. I was like stunning, groundbreaking, whatever. So yeah, I'll be happy with that. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I think so.
Well,
I mean, I think the audience can hear you too. So they're listening. They're listening to you.
They're listening to me. The chat's saying I'm a little quiet.
Oh, okay. We can try to turn you up a little bit. The thing that I was thinking the other day was, and this has to do with Prodigy too. Prodigy's is kind of cheating a little because they've got that part that kind of drives you, through their entire season, but then also they can do a Freaky Friday. They can do a holodeck episode, and that can be the sort of core that the whole thing kind of goes around from week to week. Whereas on Star Trek proper, back in the day, you'd have the serious episode, this is going to be about a conflict with the Romulans, but it's really about Riker and his dad or something like that. It's about families. And then the next week would be Guy really likes Deanna Troi, and so he kidnaps her and her mom, and we have got to get her out of that. That's a silly thing. And so they kind of get to do both. The situation that you have with the new shows that are like 10 or 12 episodes long, though, is that they kind of have to be everything to everyone. And so you were talking about being hammy, and I'm like, Picard's been totally hammy up to this point, kind of in bursts. You know, it's sort of like giving you, speaking of ham, it's like a sandwich. It's sort of like giving you all these layers in a sandwich where we've got, you know, Brent Spiner's going to destroy the world in some form at some point. You know, Ralphie's like, that happened. We've got robots, you know, we've got time travel, and they're kind of like doing every single thing and kind of doing it all at once. And so it's all just part of this. Again, haven't watched 12 Monkeys, but it's all a part of this sort of new TV landscape that we live in. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm looking for all the things that you're looking for, and I'm sure they're going to give them to us because, you know,
they have to.
Yeah, I'm assuming this is the sign off for most of these characters. Hopefully, hopefully they'll be around still. Let's talk about some of the other good news here in the world of Trek. Some really good news from the production Emmys or the creative Emmys. Star Trek Prodigy was up for production design, and it won. It won an Emmy in its category for production design. It was nominated for Best Animated Series. It did not take that home. That was City of Ghosts. But of course, it's an honor to be nominated, and congratulations to Prodigy for winning for production design.
That's amazing. I hadn't heard that. That's so funny. It's like 3 weeks after I was like, when are we going to start winning the awards for Star Trek?
Yeah, where are these awards? Yeah, exactly. That puts it in pretty rare company as far as winning Emmys. Not many Star Trek series have won Emmys. And I should also note that LeVar Burton, of course, former star of Star Trek, upcoming star of Star Trek Picard, and Reading Rainbow host, won a Lifetime Achievement Award for his work in
As
TV.
He should.
And I didn't know this. I guess I knew it was on for a while, but Reading Rainbow was on for 21 seasons from 1983 to 2006. Oh, and this is nothing for him. He's won 13 Emmy Awards previously. So he's like, I guess I have to buy a new house with a new mantle to put this on.
He's the best.
He was also, he gave a great speech, and then, this is at the Children's Family Emmys, and Picard himself, Sir Patrick Stewart, and Whoopi Goldberg also appeared by video to give him a tribute.
All right, let's go.
Yeah. So congratulations to him as well. Well, it's all good news as far as that goes. Let's turn to our episode and see how good that news is. We've seen the 18th episode of the first season of Star Trek Prodigy, an episode called Mindwalk. Ooh, and we're here to talk all about it. But first, as always, a warning. We're heading for the spoiler zone, listeners. So if you haven't seen the episode, spoilers are incoming. Be warned. The official synopsis for Mindwalk is the swap between Janeway and Dal. Oh, wait, where is it? Once again, I've lost the. It's baby's first Freaky Friday. What do you want from me? I want to be an admiral. I want to be a blue guy on the run with a weird, creepy tail. It's not fair. Ooh, yeah, you know how it works. There's a couple facts about the episode here. This is the first time I believe anybody has mentioned that Janeway became a salamander.
Yeah.
In an episode of Voyager. So that is canon. I mean, it never was not canon.
Bold to acknowledge it.
But
too.
Yes, it is.
I kind of respect them for it.
Yeah, and it's also, this is several years after the event for Janeway. I kind of thought it would be one of those things that she, never talks about. Maybe every once in a while she texts Tom Paris late at night, and she's like, we don't tell anybody about this. How's the family, by the way? Yeah.
She's like, what do you think our babies are doing?
Yeah, right. But clearly she has spoken to a counselor, and maybe she's crossed some, psychological threshold about dealing with this, and making this part of her story. I've done amazing things. I brought the entire crew of Voyager back from the Delta Quadrant. Yeah, I was a salamander that one time. She can laugh it off. It's fun.
I would talk, if I had gotten turned into a salamander, I would talk about that every day of my life.
That would be the only thing.
I would tell everyone I know. I would tell absolutely everyone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell anyone about that time that Chakotay built her bathtub. That I would keep that locked up.
Ah, okay.
That's the secret.
Yeah.
The salamander,
Just
I'm telling everyone.
me, and the monkey. They're the only ones that know about that. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about the episode itself. Oh, I forgot to mention, of course, who wrote it and everything. I think at some point when I was doing my notes, I control X'd somewhere, but I didn't control V back somewhere. So suffice it to say, it is written by the very capable people at the production, and it was directed by Sung Shin. I know that for sure. What'd you think about Mindwalk?
I loved it. I thought it was so fun.
Yeah.
I watched it by myself. I always talk about good quotes that my roommates who aren't Trekkies give me. I wish they had seen it. My roommate came back up right afterwards and was like, "How was it?" And I was like, "It was amazing." I just thought it was like so fun, and I love this is maybe like a me thing. I love when actors have to imitate each other. Like I love when like an Orphan Black moment
Oh, sure.
where it's like I guess she's not really mimicking, but you get what I mean.
Mm.
And so that was super fun to see, like Doll be Janeway and the other way around was so cool.
Yeah.
And I was happy that we finally got like some good Janeway content on the ship. I'm happy that she finally knows why they're avoiding them, because like I was concerned about what their first meeting was going to be like.
Yeah.
But I did think it was funny at the end when she shot the phaser, because I was like, it's just as Aaron predicted. She said, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. They solved their problem with a gun, but in a subversive kind of way. And I thought that it was such a good idea to do this specifically to do the body swap, because it not only does it de-escalate the tension between Janeway, our hero who we want to root for, and the kids who we also want to root for, and you don't have them being adversaries so much. Now they're connected, and then everybody else is kind of like the adversary. So it moves it forward, but then it presents all new organic obstacles, which I thought was like a really, really smart way to do it. And especially when you've got Janeway trying to understand why these kids, who are they, why are they doing this? And Dahl trying to get into the mind and the uniform, literally, of a commander who has this job that he aspires to. Like, it's just so smart. It doesn't mean that it's 100% original, though, because yes, Farscape did this. They did do this, as I like to bring up every week. I also want to bring up, though, there is an episode of Justice League Unlimited where the Flash changes brains with Lex Luthor, called the Great Brain Robbery. And so Flash is like pretending to be Luthor, but trying to like figure a way to fix everything, and get back to where he's supposed to be. Whereas Luthor has the powers of the Flash. So now he's running all over, and the Justice League's trying to like grab him and hold him down. And so, good thing to do. Throw in a body swap now and then.
It's a classic. And it could be even better than a holodeck episode.
Yeah, new favorite episode?
Yeah, for sure.
With 20 episodes, I guess I'd have to go back and like revisit my feelings. For the memory of a chipmunk, yes, this is my new favorite episode. Yeah. Just a great chance. Also, while raising the stakes of, because now we know, like I was speculating last week, I was speculating about this, but they're just in the Alpha Quadrant now. Like, they're heading for 001. They are the invaders. They are in the Federation. And so as that gets higher and higher, I love that the show just goes, let's take a break. What if Janeway's just walking around and everybody's like, she's acting really weird. And she ends up in like a rubber room at the end of the episode. So it's like the tension is cut for a while, but the circumstances and the stakes are still there, which I thought was really great. Also, just Mulgrew and Brett Gray, their performances as each other is just so good. People forget like what a talented voice actress Kate Mulgrew is, and she of course has done plenty of voice acting, besides just being Mrs. Columbo or whatever. But her versatility is really surprising. And I wonder how long Brett Gray had to, follow her around, or maybe, or just watch a lot of Voyager and be like, I got it. I'm good. I got this one.
That's a tough, like, imitation to do too. I think, like, it's not like,
oh, we've all got one.
I know, but you really have to like that's something that's a role to fill, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I think they do a really good job. Also, just as far as the animation goes, and his mannerisms, or her mannerisms in this case, all leading up, of course, to the great scene where, um, where she talks to herself, where she meets the Janeway hologram.
That was sweet.
And we've talked before about how I think I've mentioned before how sometimes I feel like they don't let things sit too long. And normally in a serial series, you would set up a character who develops an insecurity or feels like they've wronged somebody, and they sit on it for a while. Normally we do that. Troy has a issue with something, and then we let a couple other characters have some episodes, and then we revisit like her thing, and they kind of pick up and put things down really fast. So you start the episode with the character being like, I'm terrible. Like, I'm the worst hologram ever. I gotta delete myself. This is horrible. But in the same episode, she gets like redemption, and she gets it from Janeway herself, being like, "You don't worry about it. You're fine. In fact, here's an upgrade. Here's all your memories back." And so she comes out of the episode at the top when she started, at the bottom. And I think that's a nice little mini arc. I like these mini arcs. I'm getting more used to them now.
Yeah, especially after like having seen the full first half and now the full second half. And how many episodes do we have left? Like 2, 3?
There are 2 after tonight. Yeah.
Because I feel like we're just getting used to it, and then now it'll be gone. It's the same thing that happened to me last time. They had me at the end.
Yeah. I wonder. Maybe at the end of the show we'll talk a little more about what we think is coming up in the future, but could be a lot of things. I'm still really surprised that she told somebody about the salamander thing.
Wouldn't you? I would tell everyone.
Their mental health is a lot more healthy in the future. She's like, yeah, I'll tell people about it, no problem.
I would tell everyone I know.
Yeah, good party story, I guess.
Fantastic. I would tell, that would be the first
Everybody
story
at the
I
party's
told
like,
anyone.
wow.
A salamander?
Oh,
well. One time I turned to it's the same thing. It's like when new people come to my house, I have this thing where I've got this lizard, right? I've got a leopard gecko that's like my best friend's little sister's lizard, and then she went to college, and I said, yeah, I'll take care of that. And now I have a lizard.
It's just your lizard.
Now it's here. But everyone who comes to my house for the first time, I'm always like, do you like animals? Do you like lizards?
I got one.
And I feel like I'd do the same thing if I got turned into a salamander. I'd be like, how do you feel about a salamander per se?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot funnier episode than I was thinking it was going to be. And that is sort of signified, I think, intentionally when they put her in the closet. We wondered like what happened to Janeway after they knocked her out. And it's totally practical, but just the idea of stuffing somebody in a closet, that's like a setup for comedy.
The Admiral, yeah.
Yeah. And so of course that's what happens. A lot of funny lines in the episode. I like when they're trying, I thought I understood like how warp travel and warp bubbles work, but I guess in Enterprise, there's that episode where they combine their warp bubble with the NX-02 to like help them or whatever. So apparently you can do that. But when they're doing that, the Rock Talk's like, well, why don't we do the thing and the thing? And he's like, okay, boop, 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 boop. I don't know how to do that. I wrote Jamberry. So Jamberry is my Mirror Universe Janeway name.
Nice.
It autocorrected to Jamberry.
Jamberry. That's funny.
What else happens in this episode? We get a little more information about... we see like kind of more... I feel like we've seen the whole thing where Chakotay gets captured. We've seen like every third frame, and now we've gotten every second frame, and maybe someday we'll have all the frames, and then we can just watch like this scene. But we get a little more information about what happens to him. And I wonder if they ever pitched it to Robert Beltran, like this is kind of like a cameo, but it'll be spread over like a couple episodes, you know? Because when I heard that he was returning, you know, you would think, oh, he's going to be, if not a principal, you know, like a secondary character, but he's been really more of like a MacGuffin. So I wonder if that will change in the next 2 episodes, or maybe we'll see him in like season 2. You don't just tease people with Chakotay.
Well, exactly. And it's like, on the one hand, I like these new shows, like not having a ton of crossover with stuff we've already seen.
Yeah.
But it also, like, this is a story that I would like to see fleshed out, and I would like to know more about Chakotay, like, and Janeway, frankly,
Yeah.
where they are right now, where we are in Prodigy.
Maybe
Could
season
be
2 will
fun.
be the search for Chakotay.
That'd be good, because then they also wouldn't be at Starfleet Academy. They could do, instead of doing the Starfleet Academy bit, they could do a, you know, still not quite, or maybe they get like honorary cadet status or something. They get to go look for Chakotay with Janeway.
Well, let's talk about that. So we've got 2 episodes left. I saw a tweet. You know how like TV is produced. Like I'm sure that they are writing or have written all the scripts, so I know they know where they're going if and it's already been renewed, so there will be a second season. But I wonder the fact that we won't see it for a while, if they will take that opportunity to do that. Maybe we skip forward, 3 years and they're on a cadet cruise. Maybe they are full foot. It
I
feels
didn't
like
even think about that, a time jump. That'd be perfect.
I don't really want that because they're kids.
Why
and
not?
Because it's fun that they're kids, and the show I'm describing sounds like Lower Decks to me. Like if they're just junior
A
officers.
little, yeah, I see you for that. They are really little kids, though, right? I mean, how old is Rock Talk?
Pretty little.
Like 9? Yeah.
She
I
got
mean, some
finished
of
high
them,
school.
what, Jankum is 16. Like, so they're still,
Yeah.
pretty young, especially Rock Talk, even if they do like a 3-year time jump. I see where you're coming from, though, with that.
Maybe the show also has like a tendency, I think, to like kind of give us what we want or give the characters what they want and then kind of take it away.
Yeah.
The dollar on a string. So maybe they will vanquish the construct and save the Federation, but then get flung back into the Delta Quadrant or into another galaxy or forward in time or backward in time.
I mean,
or
well, they
something
could
like
do
that.
anything. They could like, once now that Janeway knows what the problem is, she could like upload like 1,000 terabytes of Starfleet Academy professor lectures to her hologram Janeway on the ship, and then be like, "Your cadets now go, but you got to go over there."
I've got holograms of my entire crew. Meet Ensign Harry Kim. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose
Still
you
an
could do just
ensign.
about anything. Yeah, I wonder. I mean, we all love that there's not one but 2 Janeways on the show, but it does kind of open the door to literally any character. I mean, they already did this earlier in the season with having Dr. Crusher come back, and then the archived audio of other characters. So you can really do whatever you want. Let's talk about something that kind of bothers me, and I don't know how to elucidate it exactly, but it's the late 24th century. Are we still racist against augments?
Yes.
What's going on with this? Come on. We've seen this before. We know that they're progressive, their society, and yet we want their society to in some way reflect ours so we can tell stories that resonate with us in their society. And so you develop sci-fi racism. But also we've seen this in shows. We've seen them change their minds and their ideas about things. When are we going to get a measure of a man for augments, the measure of an augment? When are we going to get somebody saying, all right, I'm, the Federation president, here's an executive order. We bring them all in. What's up with us, people? Come on. Like what's wrong? How is this still possible that we've seen this in Archer's time? We've seen this in Kirk's time. We've seen it in Picard's time and even beyond now. You don't tell me in the 32nd century that, forehead president ladies like augments. I don't think so. Like, right? They have to be over it by then.
I mean, but you said it already. It's like, you want Star Trek to be this like utopia, how it's pitched, but if it's perfect all the time, you can't create like real world.
That's what Orions are for. People are clearly still racist against Orions in the 32nd century. Yeah, they're a different color. That way I don't have to spell this out for you.
I think Mika's right in the chat. She said maybe that'll happen with this show about like measurement for augments, and then like maybe because what if Dal, like, do we know if any augments have been in Starfleet Academy? Like maybe that's the bit. Maybe he's the first augment, and that's like a whole thing,
Well, apparently Lon got like special permission at some point. Like people know her name is literally, "Hi, I'm Judy Hitler." Like they know, like So at some point, somebody was like, "It's okay, she's all right." So yeah, I don't know.
But that's a nepotism, baby.
Yeah, that is a nepotism, baby. So we'll see. I don't know.
Mhm.
You're on notice, Star Trek shows. Picard, maybe not in Picard because you got your own thing going on next season, but you're on notice.
Call
Don't,
Melinda Snodgrass and get her in the studio.
yeah, don't let the cartoon lap you on this because the cartoon has done a bunch of things now that I've wanted to see in live action and that we have ever done in a cartoon. So
Yeah.
don't let them eat all of your lunches. Beat them to this. Come up with some great story and let's get this done already. And then we can move on to some new form of racism. People always hate robots. How about robots? Not like data robots. I mean, like,
I mean, not like,
Danger Will Robinson, assembly line
Yeah.
robots. They're building cars and they're doing stuff.
Yeah, they're the worst.
Why does the diviner let Janeway go?
A deep sense of ethics and honor.
He's like, this could totally screw up my thing. Because he doesn't know that she's, not her. But he's like, I mean, ultimately, I guess it's sort of,
my life.
yeah.
I think it's that he's worried about Gwen more than
Right.
more than anything.
And I can see that, like, having her in charge is the best way to get the ship back, which if the ship takes off, then he might never see it again. He can try to get his hands on it or change the situation, like, once they have it in hand. But it's just, it's this weird moment where he is just sort of connecting with her. It's like, yeah, we knocked you out. And yeah, obviously this is, we're not friends, but yeah, you have to get out there. I just thought that was sort of interesting. This is like, I think we've been on this since the beginning and I've felt it, and go back. I'm sure I've mentioned it, but there's a face turn coming for the diviner, right? Like he's not going to be, Darth Vader the whole time. I mean, Darth Vader had one. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else you can think to say about the episode?
No, I mean, I think we've said everything about this episode. I'm curious. I think that we're looking forward to a big blowout in the next couple episodes. So something's going to happen. You know.
I think so.
Only 2 episodes left.
I think it's a little, now that we know a little bit more about Dahl and that he's got, this DNA from everybody, all these different creatures inside him. It's kind of, well, I mean, when you think about it, like there's a thing like in writing, like nobody wants I don't want to say Mary Sue, so I'm not going to say it even though I just said it, but nobody wants the super character. You don't want like the character you can do anything with and is perfect and has lots of outs, but there is a lot of story potential. And when you think about it, everybody in Star Trek is a super character. They all are. Like they're all telepathic. Riker's not telepathic, but he can read your cards from across the room. He's a poker player. He can talk his way out of anything. He punches his way out of everything. So I don't know if they've given us a full list of the DNAs that he has in him, plural DNAs. But I'm sure that they're keeping a few like in their pocket so they can be like, and actually he's Romulan DNA, or he's part changeling, and now he's gonna stretch. So we'll have to see where that goes. Fandom Casual says predictions. We talked about predictions a little bit. I'm gonna make
have anything more specific. I'm
gonna make a solid prediction.
Let's go.
I'm gonna lock it. I'm gonna lock it and say there's no way they're wrapping the Chakotay thing up in the next 2 episodes.
No. Totally agree.
Season 2 is the search for Chakotay. Perhaps they will use the proto drive, which they haven't talked much about in this half of the season, to slingshot around a sun, which we kind of did earlier in the season, but and go forward in time and try to get Chakotay back. That's my lock. Any big predictions? You're rock solid. This is it. Prediction.
I feel like we're gonna have. We keep joking about it. I feel like we're gonna have a good Janeway with the shotgun moment.
Sure.
Like she's gonna and whether it's maybe it'll be her defending the kids. Like the protostar has to go and she has to defend them against somebody. But something's gonna happen there. I feel like we're gonna have like a good fight scene.
Well, it's like I said with the robot racism. Dreadnought, right? He's a robot, so we'll get a Dreadnought falls over, hole in him.
Can't trust him.
Janeway's got the thing right there. Yeah.
It's the Gladys of it all,
Yeah, exactly.
Wheatley,
Don't
as it were.
Don't trust them. You can never trust them. Well, I think that's it for our show this week. Thanks for joining us, listeners. And if you like what you hear here on this show, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at EISTPOD to get updates and to get notified when new episodes of both this show and our main show, Enterprising Individuals, are released. You can tweet to us on the show by using the hashtag Discoverage, and you can email us at EISTPOD@gmail.com. And while you're on the internet, be sure to head to your listening platform of choice and subscribe to our show. Give us a rating and a review because it really does help us out. Discoverage will return next week on the 22nd for the 19th episode of the first season of Prodigy, an episode entitled Supernova Part 1. And we'll see what happens there. We'll be here next Thursday to cover it, and we'll be going live once again at 8 p.m. Central. So join us then. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook to get notified when we're live and broadcasting. In the meantime, why not check out our main show, Enterprising Individuals, at enterprisingindividuals.com. Every Wednesday on the show, I and a special guest discuss in excruciating detail a movie from the Star Trek franchise. We also have news from the Trek sphere and special guests and interviews. So check it out. Our most recent episode just dropped, and on it I'm joined by frequent Discoverage guest Gooey Fame to talk about the 13th and final Star Trek film, Star Trek Beyond. Idris Elba's in this one, and he's a vampire dinosaur, so put that in your pipe and smoke it. But is it a good movie? We talk all about it. Join us as we complete our year of watching Trek films. You can find the show at enterprisingindividuals.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Ella, thanks as always for joining me to talk about Star Trek Prodigy, and remind people where they can find you online.
Thank you. My personal accounts are all Gondor Gold. Again, don't steal it. And I am sorry that it's not a Star Trek name. But, I made it when I was 14, so we're sticking with it.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Speaking of Tolkien, I'll give the Tolkien plug this week. I've been listening to Tolkien. Are you Tolkien? What's the name of the show?
Keep on Tolkien.
Keep on Tolkien. I just hit play. I don't look at the name of the show is. And it's really great. And it's really deep dives on Tolkien stuff. You have to remember that it is for adult people, though, for adult individuals.
Yeah.
So you want to hear
people who can hear swearing.
You want to hear some F-bombs when they're talking about Theoden King or whatever and his effing great horse. Go check that out. I got
a shout out on the.
Oh, did you?
My dad called me and said, on Keep on Tolkien this week, they said, as our friend Ella would say, vibe check failed. And I was like,
I haven't heard that yet. Okay. All right. I'll be listening for that. I'm at K1IBAN on Twitter, and you can find all the shows on the Just Enough Trope Network at Just Enough Trope on Twitter. And that is it for us. Thanks for listening, everybody. We are signing off. This is Aaron for Ella saying live long and prosper.